there. Welcome back to The Working Actor on Casting Workbook. I'm Natasha Gargiulo, and we are at the Whistler Film Festival now in its 24th year. It is overseen by Angela Heck, who joins me today. She's the executive director of the Whistler Film Festival, and she's going to talk about all of the exciting things happening this year at the fest. So thank you for having us here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you know, it's my first time at Whistler, and I've always heard amazing things about it. But I know as an industry professional, a moviegoer, or anyone who just really loves the whole aspect of film, Whistler is something you need to put on your calendar every year.
I would tend to agree.
Yes.
Absolutely. We've been doing this for 24 years now, and it has only grown and really become a really dynamic place for conversations, for filmmaking, for people to connect. We always say this is where creativity meets community, and that's, I think, something that you're really picking up on.
And what an incredible landscape with the views and the mountains around you. I mean, how can you not feel inspired, and how can you not be creative when you're in this environment? Tell me a little bit about, I guess, the whole concept of having the film festival up here in the mountains.
Well, that credit is to the founders, Casey Lubin and Shauna Hardy, who 24 years ago realized that this, first of all, is an idyllic venue. Yeah. And also, you have to remember that Whistler is actually a very new community. It's only celebrating its 50th anniversary next year. So when the festival started, this was a much smaller place. Mm-hmm. And it was a way to bring arts and culture to the community. It also aligned with the growth of the industry in Vancouver. So it really sort of caught a wave and a motion in the industry, and that is something that's just grown ever since.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the film industry has grown in Vancouver. A lot of films are shot here. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, the success story of Whistler and all of the films that have been here, and maybe some of the memorable moments that you have in your mind that stand out to you.
I mean, there's so many, and I think that really stems from the fact that we're quite an intimate festival. We also really champion content creators and filmmakers who are sometimes at the start of their journey. Yeah. I like to say this is a place where these stories really meet their audiences for the first time, and you really don't know where that's going to go. After being around for 24 years, you can really start to track some of the alumni that have come through this. For example, we've got Tatiana Maslany here this year, but she appeared in films here in 2012 and 2013, Picture Day and Cass and Dillon, and you can't predict what happens when somebody starts the journey here and what will follow.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, there's so many film festivals around the world. One in particular is Sundance, which kind of reminds me of the Whistler Film Festival. It's much more laid back, but like you said, a lot of film professionals have their start in these smaller film festivals, and then they, explode to go on to huge careers.
Yeah, and somebody once said this is a little bit like a filmmaker summer camp or so, right? Everybody gets here, they spend 4 days together. It's a pedestrian village, so you're going out, you're having coffee, you're seeing people with the badges around town, and by the end of the time, you know everybody. You've had some great conversations, you've had some experiences, you've been to a few parties, you've seen the films. It's the relationships that are forged here really are long-term ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And the films that you have as well. I mean, the opening film last night was The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson. Some Oscar contenders, we can say, that the Whistler Film Festival always has, September 5 as well. Tell me a little bit about how you go about choosing the films to be at the fest.
That's really a credit to our programming team. We welcomed a new director of film programming this year, Robin Smith, and he and our team, they go through over 2,000 submissions for the films. They ended up programming 118 of them, and 66% of them are Canadian. So that's just something that we like to champion. But they also have really great relationships with the studios, with other filmmakers, and so we are able to attract those Oscar contenders. The timing of our festival was very deliberately chosen because it is part of that awards season momentum and the like. So it's really part of that growing story towards the success that those films might see.
Yeah, it happens every year in December, which is obviously a perfect time to be up in Whistler. But how early in advance do you start planning for next year?
We're already planning.
I was just going to ask you tomorrow.
yeah, we're already in it. Next year's our 25th anniversary too, so we're definitely already in the thick of it. Generally, we launch the call in March, and then we work through the year. It's also, although we do a lot of preparation, it's such it's an industry where things really change so dramatically and quickly, so we're responsive to things really to the last minute.
Yes. And before you took on the role of executive director here at Whistler, you had a film that was here in Whistler.
I did. I've had many roles here, but also, I've actually been at the festival in one capacity or another since the beginning. I did start as a publicist on the very first film of the very first screening here, which was Ski Bums, and which was such a great story. So I came up here, and it was incredible. There was probably like 800 people in the room, all cheering on a really great story by a documentary filmmaker who's also was an Academy Award-winning documentary filmmaker. And I just came up here, and it was like, what is going on here? This is like a small place with such an enthusiastic crowd. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I started my own filmmaking endeavors, and we did a film called In the Shadow of the Chief, and in 2003 it was the Audience Award winner here. And it's been such a personal journey as well to see what the impact of that kind of award, that kind of recognition, that kind of experience can really have.
Right.
I mean, I didn't think I'd be sitting here.
And you are. Look at you after that. Now you're running the entire festival, which is such a huge accomplishment. But, you know, our community is all about actors and casting directors and filmmakers who all are obviously looking to follow in this journey and be successful at their craft. So for actors who are tuning in, why would you feel it would be beneficial for actors to attend these festivals?
That's a really good question, and it's something that we get a lot, but it's really an opportunity for creatives, and actors are, of course, very creative people, to hone their skills and explore other areas. I strongly suspect there's a lot of actors there that are very interested in writing and directing and understanding what the craft is and how to get better at it, and also make those connections is really part of what you can do here.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a testament to that, because you came in as a producer and now you are running the entire Whistler Film Festival.
It's really quite astonishing to recognize now, with the benefit of hindsight, what a journey can be. Yes. And you never really know what your experience here is one year, and then several years later where you might end up.
Well, we can't wait to see what the plans are for the 25th year. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.